In this video, learn how to file a quarterly Making Tax Digital (MTD) for income tax update in Xero when you have more than one type of income, for example, self-employment and income from UK property. Before you start, make sure your Xero organization is already connected to HMRC for MTD for income tax and that you've set up your business correctly in Xero. If you haven't done this yet, watch the setup video first, then come back here. If you have a sole trade business and UK property, you can manage both in one Xero subscription by using tracking categories. That way, Xero knows which transactions belong to your self-employment and which belong to the property. However, for more complex scenarios, you may need to use multiple Xero subscriptions. To get started, go to Accounting, then choose Accounting Settings and select Tracking Categories. Here, add a new tracking category. Give it a clear name that relates to MTD for income tax. In this example, we'll call it MTD IT. Under Category Options, add one option for each income type you need to report. For example, self-employment, and separate options for each property, such as Kingsland Road and Theydon Road. When you're done, click Save. You've now created your tracking structure. Next, you'll use these tracking options whenever you enter or review transactions in Xero, so everything ends up in the right place for your MTD updates. Let's see how that works on an invoice. Go to Sales, then Invoices. Open a draft invoice you're ready to approve. On the invoice line, you'll see your new MTD IT tracking category. For this example, the work relates to your self-employment. From the MTD IT dropdown, choose Self-Employment, then click Approve. Follow the same approach for your other income and expense transactions. Once all your transactions are allocated, you're ready to prepare your quarterly MTD update. When you're ready to file, go to Tax, then select MTD for income tax. The first time you come here with multiple income types, Xero asks you to configure your tracking options. This step links your tracking categories to the trades and properties HMRC expects to see on your MTD return. Click Configure to open the tracking allocation page. For your self-employment business, select the MTD for IT tracking category, then choose the Self-Employment Tracking option. This tells Xero which transactions to include in your self-employment trade. Next, for your UK property income, select the same MTD IT tracking category, then choose the tracking option that matches your first property, for example, Kingsland Road. If you have more than one property, click Add another tracking option and choose the tracking option for your second property, such as Theydon Road. Repeat this for any additional UK properties you own. Under Transaction Allocation, you can decide how Xero uses those tracking options in your MTD update. If you choose Allocate to Business, Xero includes 100% of the tracked transactions in that trade or property. If you share ownership of a property, select Allocate to Tracking options. Here, you can set the percentage that should be included in your update. For example, if you own Kingsland Road 50%, change its allocation to 50% so only half of the income and expenses are reported on your MTD return. Once you've checked each trade and property, click Save. Xero asks you to confirm your changes. Review the details, then click Confirm. Back on the overview page, you'll see your quarterly obligations. Once you've filed your first update, HMRC will send back an estimated tax calculation, which appears in the top right so you can keep on top of your tax position throughout the year. On the left-hand side, you'll see each of your income types listed separately, for example, your self-employment and your UK property income. You'll file an update for each of these in turn. Let's look at UK property first. Click UK Property. Here, you can review the income and expenses that Xero has allocated to your property tracking options for this quarter. Check that everything looks right and make any final changes in Xero before you file. When you're happy, click Send to HMRC. Xero displays a message confirming you're about to send a quarterly update to HMRC for this income type. Review the period and details, then click Send Update. Next, repeat the same process for your self-employment income. After you've submitted all your quarterly updates, HMRC returns an updated tax calculation. By using tracking categories and the MTD for income tax overview in Xero, you can manage self-employment and property income together, file accurate quarterly updates, and stay on top of your tax obligations.